Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron. Now, for the benefit of those of you who are not familiar with the channel or are watching this channel for the very first time, the reason why it is called Uncommon Sense because here we discuss everyday issues where we try to find logical solutions, but not everyone uses logic. For that reason, it is called Common Sense. I want to let everybody know that I'm currently live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And as always, I want to give a huge shout out to all those who have already subscribed to the channel. I also want to give a huge shout out to all those who follow me on social media. And I want to give a huge shout out to all those who allow me to enter in your devices, whether it be live or whether it be on the playback. If you have not done so, what I'm going to ask you to do is please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button as you enter, and set the bell notification to all. So therefore, whenever I do produce content, you will have the opportunity to either catch it live or to catch it on the playback. Once again, the subscriber mode feature is currently on. What does that mean? That means that if you're not a subscriber and you wish to enter a comment, you need to subscribe to the channel. Um, what I want to do is before I get into the topic for the evening, as you can see by the thumbnail, a shout out to the veterans. Let me just relate to you something that happened yesterday. Yesterday was election day, and I was working as an election poll worker um, at a polling site near my home. So I got very busy with dealing with hundreds of people coming in to cast their ballots for their selections and their votes and whatnot. Lo and behold, one person that actually came into the polling station to cast her vote is the one, the only, or some people famous, or some people infamous AOC. It was a bizarre situation having to serve my representative in Congress. But yeah, that's what I did. She came in. I check and see if her information is correct, and then gave her a ballot, gave her instructions how to cast the ballot, and then she went her separate way. And then she decides, oh, guess what? It's time for a photo op. So one of the election co-workers come to me saying, well, you're not supposed to do that. Well, you know what? I understand that, but that's a function for the coordinator, who is the one who's in charge of the polling site. I'm not going to tell anyone that they cannot take photos because, first of all, I don't know what's in their state of mind, number one. And number two, I mean, do I really want to launch a battle which is not going to end well? Well, in any case, that's probably the only time that I'll get to see my congressperson. And I see here we got a few comments. Okay. Excuse me, my computer is acting up. Good evening, Hazel. As far as the Democrats winning, in a lot of races, it's still too early to tell. But we still have a Democrat as governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general, and senator. My representative from Congress won. Okay. And I see here we also have the one and only Reese from Philly. And I just want to let everybody know that he has a YouTube channel. So I'm going to ask that if you have not done so, please subscribe to his channel and check out his content. First of all, thank you, Hazel, for stopping by. Let me just drop the link. Okay. My senators are Chuck Schumer and Gillibrand, I think it is the other one. Those are my senators. Okay. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say if they're great, top, or whatever. I know Chuck Schumer is for now, the majority leader. That I do know. Okay. Now let me see if I can just drop this link. Okay. Okay. So the topic for tonight is a shout out. Excuse me. Is a shout out to the veterans. Okay. Now yes, Chuck Schumer won, and also AOC. Okay. We can talk about AOC another time. Okay. A lot of Latinos were not too happy about her, but we can discuss her another time. Now, as far as why we're doing a shout out for the veterans, first of all, many of us know that this Friday is Veterans Day, the day that we honor all veterans, all those people who serve in military service, and especially those who paid the ultimate sacrifice. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share something. Hopefully, my computer will cooperate. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Well, as we're waiting, I can tell you this much. Okay. Just give me a moment. But when you think about Veterans Day, about the veterans, I mean, first of all, they go through a great deal. Now, let's see if I can. Oh no! Okay. Come on. Okay. Okay. Wow. Be safe out there, Hazel. What I'm gonna do? Okay, be safe out there, Hazel. I'll say a prayer for you because I know you're preparing for a hurricane over there. Okay. Now let me just, since my computer's not gonna cooperate. Okay, just give me a moment. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to read to you. Okay, this is how Veterans Day came into being. First of all, okay, excuse me, that's not what. Okay. Okay. Veterans Day. Now, first of all, it was originally known as Armistice Day. It's a federal holiday in the United States observed annually on November the 11th for honoring military veterans of the United States Armed Forces who was discharged under conditions honored dishonorably. Okay. It coincides with the other holidays, including Armistice Day and Remembrance Day, which are celebrated in other countries that mark the anniversary of the end of World War I. Major hostilities of World War I were formally ended on the 11th hour on the 11th day of the 11th month of 1918. Okay, I would do that. I would do that. Thank you very much. Okay. At the urging of major U.S. veteran organization, Armistice Day was renamed Veterans Day in 1954. Okay. Now, when you think about the veterans, they are a unique group of individuals, and I'm going to tell you why they're so unique. First of all, in order for them to serve in our armed forces, it takes a special, unique type of individual to do so. Okay, not everyone can serve in the military because, first of all, you need to be physically fit and mentally fit to serve in any of our armed forces, which consists of the Army, Navy, Marines, Air Force, and the Coast Guard. Okay. And also, one thing that's very unique about those that serve in the armed forces, it does not allow a lot of individualism. And the reason behind that, I believe, is because in order for armed forces to work, they have to work in unison as a team. And the way I see it, it's like any military force, whether it be as small as a platoon or as large as a whole army, it's made up of individual members. And each member must think alike. So it does require a great deal of preparation. It requires a great deal of sacrifice. And whenever there is a war, that means you have to go and serve your country. Whether it be on land, whether it be in sea, or anywhere else, it does require a great deal of personal sacrifice. Also, one thing to bear in mind is that the men and women who decide to serve in our military, they sacrifice many things. First of all, they sacrifice the fact that they're not with, like many of them, they're not with their loved ones, their spouses, their children, and what have you. And many of them have shed blood serving our country. Okay. And then you have those who have been physically injured and sometimes horribly. Okay. And to be perfectly honest, it's very hard at times. Once you serve in the military and you was in armed active combat, to come back to civilian life. And it does require a huge adjustment period. And not everyone is able to do that, which is the reason why so much preparation is needed. People who serve in the military have a great deal of personal discipline, and it's necessary because when they see a lot of the stuff that goes on in war, when they see their comrades being injured or killed, when they see death and carnage, it affects many of them. And sometimes there are certain scars that never go away. But yet, these men and women serve in our armed forces. Um, knowing that they're going to go through a great deal of trial and tribulation, knowing it's going to be months or even years before they see their loved ones. And many times when they serve in the armed forces, they're serving overseas. Now I'm going to share with you some information. And again, let me just put in the link again. Okay, anyone is more than welcome to enter a comment or join the panel. Let me just highlight the 3 rules. And the fact I have to keep mentioning these rules, I mean, it's a shame, but unfortunately, here in these YouTube streets, we got certain members of the peanut gallery, so to speak. So the rules are the following. Number 1, do not overtalk anyone on the panel. That means any of the guests or me. Number 1. Number 2, do not disrespect anyone on the panel or on the chat. And number 3, if you decide to use as your avatar for reasons that only are known to you, female private anatomy or male anatomy, you will be removed. It is that simple. Because what I'm trying to do, and this is something that has to be made clear, the fact of the matter is, this is a safe space for everyone, and I repeat, everyone to share their point of views. I don't censor people as long as you're respectful. Now, let me just explain to you at least why we should honor and thank our veterans. It is more important than ever that our veterans receive our support and gratitude for protecting the United States and its citizens home and abroad. We can never repay the debt we owe them, yet they entered service knowing this, and so often live the rest of their lives with the wounds of having served. Okay. Now, I want all of you to just think about this for a moment. Because when I say about the wounds, I'm not just talking about the physical injuries that they occur, which may include the loss of limbs, the loss of vision. It can also mean other type of physical damage. But there's another type of damage that's even worse. That's mental damage. And many of these people who do serve in the military, unless they get the counseling that they need, their lives are completely destroyed. Now, let me just. Now, also, we must bear in mind that we should show proper respect to our veterans for the simply for the fact that they chose to serve our country. Now, of course, we can talk about, well, certain benefits that they can get serving the armed forces, which is the pursuit of education, employment opportunities, and things of that nature. But for the most part, these people choose to serve our country because they love this country so much that they're willing to sacrifice their lives, their dreams, their hopes, and what have you to serve in the military. And some of them, they make for careers in the military. Now, I'm going to share with you why we should respect and remember these veterans. During times of war, individual acts of heroism occur frequently. Only a few are ever recorded and receive official recognition. By remembering all those who have served, we recognize and the willingly endure hardships and fears, taking themselves so they can live in peace. Now that's something to think about. I mean, imagine yourself. You're a young person. Say you're, I don't know, 20 or 21 years old, or maybe even 18. I don't know. Or let's just say you're in your early 20s. You have your whole life ahead of you. Now, you could opt for many things. You can opt to go to college to get an education and then be some sort of professional. You can opt to go to a trade school and learn a trade and then work as a blue collar worker. So what you do, you decide to enlist. So you will either go to the Army or the Navy or the Air Force or the Marines or what have you. And you go through basic training. And then you go through all the training requirements that are necessary. And then you complete training and you enter as an enlisted person in the armed forces. Now, one thing to bear in mind, those in the military, they don't make a lot of money. I'm not going to get into all the details as how much, for example, they get in the beginning because there are many factors that go into what a person in the military will receive in salary. First of all, you have to take into account, are they going in as an enlisted person or as they going in as an officer? Okay. Also, do they have any special skills that might be factored in that will determine what will be their starting salary? So these are things to consider. Now, when you think about being serving overseas, think about all the burdens that the spouse of someone in the military must bear. Okay. So let's take a look again of this young 22-year-old. Okay. Let's say he's married and he has a child. So he's somewhere, whether it be in Europe or in Asia or in Africa. And then his young wife is home to look after their child. And waiting until they're able to get either a face phone call or Skype or what have you. Now just picture this. It's Thanksgiving or it's Christmas. And this young person, instead of being with their loved ones in, say, Fargo, North Dakota, or Phoenix, Arizona, or even New York City. This young person's in Stockholm, or this person's in Oslo, or this person's in Tokyo. or this person's in Munich, or this person's in Moscow, okay, on Christmas time. That could be a very lonely time for that young person, okay? And I'm sure that young person would do anything within reason and whatnot to spend the holidays with his loved ones. Unfortunately, um, due to his military commitment, he has to spend many holidays away from loved ones. And the only ones that the only people that he has um, to talk with are their pals and their comrades in arms. So these are the things that these young people have to deal with. Now imagine if, God forbid, there's a war, okay, and this young person uh, is involved in an armed conflict, and that person dies. So you can just imagine the anguish that this young person's wife and loved ones have to deal with. And the only, if you can call it a consolation, is that this person died serving his country. But that does not take away in any way, shape, or form the sting of losing a loved one. Okay, those of you who have lost spouses, children, parents, um, grandparents, or any other loved ones can appreciate the anguish that loved ones deal with when their son, their daughter, their father paid the ultimate sacrifice, shed their. And again, one thing we must bear in mind, excuse me, that these are these are the real heroes, without a doubt. The fact that they can enter into military service, knowing the fact they may end up having to serve their country, knowing the fact they may have to die, that's something that could be very difficult to bear. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share an article, excuse me, called 9 Ways to Honor Those Who Serve Our Country this Veterans Day. Few groups deserve our recognition, respect, and gratitude more than the brave men and women who have served in the U.S. military. These upstanding individuals sacrifice so much so we can preserve our way of life. This November the 11th, on Veterans Day, we should like to extend our sincere thanks to veterans who have served so selfishly and courageously. Okay. No matter where you live or how much time you have to dedicate, there's a multiple of ways to honor a veteran, whether a loved one or a stranger who has spent his or her life protecting our values and democracy. Here are 9 ideals to consider. Number 1, say thank you. If you personally know of a veteran, whether they live close by or states away, make an effort simply to say thanks. If your schedule is hectic and you don't have the time for an in person visit, a quick phone call or text is sure to be appreciated. And let me just stop right here. And I just want to show my appreciation for all the men and women who have and are now currently serving in our armed forces. There's no way that I can fully show my gratitude to all of you for your military service because you did not have to serve in the military. You chose to serve in the military because you love our country so much that you decided to put your life on hold for many years to serve in the military, knowing at some point, if God forbid there's a war, you're gonna have to go and serve your country, and you may end up shedding your blood, serving your country. So for that reason, I want to say thank you. I also want to say thank you to the families of all those who serve or have served in the military. Because you are, all of you, are an example of patience, of love, and sacrifice that you make because you know that your son, daughter, or family member, or friend, or close friend has or have served in the military, and particularly in a special way, the family of those who have perished in military service. There is no way, shape, and form that we can ease your pain, but I just want to say thank you for your commitment, love, and sacrifices. Now, here's another way you can show thanks. Write an old-fashioned letter or send a care package. Looking for something a little bit more personal than a text or an email? Send a veteran a handwritten letter or a care package with a small gift and some of their favorite snacks. This is especially a considered option because vets can treasure your letter or gift for years to come. Number 3, treat a vet to lunch, dinner, or a cup of coffee. Inviting a veteran to a popular local restaurant or cozy coffee house is guaranteed to make their day. Prepare a few questions to ask about their time in the military. Being the center of attention for an hour or so will even will be even better treat than the meal. Number 4. Oh, wait a minute! Before I forgot, we also have the 18th letter. Good evening. Thank you very much for stopping by. And I want to let everybody know that the 18th letter has his YouTube channel. So I'm going to ask if you have not done so, please subscribe to his channel and check out his content. Joaquin, the topic for tonight is a shout out to the veterans. So right now, I'm just sharing some ways that we can show our gratitude for all those who have served in military service. Number 4, offer to help with household chores. This small act of gratitude speaks volumes. If you even if half an hour to spare, offer to help a vet with household tasks such as vacuuming, dusting, or laundry, or mowing the lawn. Number 5, make a commitment to volunteer. With the aid of the internet, finding meaningful volunteer opportunities is virtually effortless. Search the Veterans and Military Families category on www.volunteermatch.com. That's www.V as in Victor, O as in Oscar, L as in love, U as in uncle, N as in nice, T as in Thomas, E as in eagle, E as in Edward, R as in royal, M as in Mary, A as in Alpha, T as in Tom, C as in Charlie, H as in hero, com to find a hospital, charity, or other organization that needs help near you. Number 6, donate to a cause that supports veterans. Even a small donation of money well spent when you're supporting our country's servicemen and women. Consider making a donation to groups such as the Wounded Warriors Project or USO and encourage your friends and family members to do the same. Interesting. Number 7, invite a veteran to speak at your child's school. Many children don't fully understand the sacrifices veterans have made to protect us and our freedoms, but you can do something to change that. Ask your child's principal if they accept visiting speakers. If they do, invite a veteran to talk about their experiences or host a Q&A session at your child's school. I think that's an excellent idea. First of all, because it allows the veterans to share their own personal experiences. Also, it helps children to understand that there are adults that do many selfish acts. 2.5 million veteran owned businesses in the United States. That's nearly 10% of all businesses nationwide. Find a veteran owned company near you and pay them a visit today. I think it's a good idea. I think I might do that sometime in the near future. Okay. And number 9, attend your local Veterans Day parade. Bring the whole family to your city's Veterans Day parade and show your love and show your support in person. Check with your local VA office to get details about Veterans Day events and celebrations in your area, whether you have 5 minutes or 5 hours to spare. You can make a huge difference in a veteran's life this November the 11th. If you are a Sonita senior resident, okay, I'm not going to share that part. But uh, what is my take in all this? There are many ways that we can show our gratitude to these dear men and women who have served our country in the armed forces. And those are just only a few examples. Um, there are other things that we can do for them. Okay. For those of us who are Christians, we can also pray for these veterans because the truth of the matter is we do not know what they go through. We are not aware of the anguish that they go through. We are not aware of their personal turmoils. Okay. The only way that we would know if we actually experience what we what they have experienced. What we can do is show our love and our gratitude to these brave men and women who have served our country and died. And to be perfectly honest, when you think of it, when you think today, when there's so many people are looking out for heroes, people tend to look at heroes as like sports figures, like baseball players, football players, basketball players. Okay, or people might look to movie stars as heroes, or some people even look to politicians as heroes. Okay, and I see here we also have the presence of Taino Knight. Good evening, sir. Um, and here's something he put down. The Puerto Rican 65th Infantry were the first and possibly only Secretary Infantry Regiment known to Boricuniers to receive the Congressional Medal of Honor for their bravery in Korea and in Vietnam. That's interesting. I did not know about it. Thank you very much for sharing this. Despite the fact that they were denied the orders of their general by resisting to go into the Battle of Jackson Heights, and because they considered it to be a death trap. Okay. Yes, we salute you. That is so true. That is extremely true. Okay. And to be perfectly honest, I understand that this is not exactly a polished way to honor our veterans, particularly those veterans that no one knows about. Okay, and when you think about heroes who serve in the military, you think of the known heroes like the George Washingtons, um, the General Grants, the Dwight Eisenhowers, or or other flamboyant soldiers like Teddy Roosevelt. However, what about all those brave men and women that never got any press? They never even got so much as one article written about them. Okay. Now I know that in Washington D.C. we do have a tomb called the Tomb for the Unknown Soldier, which is to honor all those anonymous military people who died serving their countries. We may never know who they were, but you know what? God knows. Okay? You know who else knows? These men and women that shed their blood serving our country. Okay? And one thing I have a huge problem is this. Now, I can understand that there may be certain armed conflicts that people will disagree on, and we have our share of armed conflicts that were very controversial, such as the Vietnam War, also the invasion in Iraq, to try to find the weapons of mass destruction, which we never found. Okay. Now there's plenty of reasons why to disagree with these armed um, invasions and what have you. But that does not take away the fact that you have men and women who bravely serve our country, who bravely put their lives on hold for years, who bravely undergo a great deal of mental stress, who bravely were injured, and some of them were horrible injuries where they were maimed, they lost limbs, they received third-degree burns. And just to give you an idea what I mean by that, I'm talking about major burns. I mean, where more than 60% of their body were burned. And we mustn't forget those brave souls who died serving our country. Okay? We must never forget that. Now, can we disagree regarding the armed conflicts that the United States chose to get involved with? We can disagree on that until the cows come home. But we can never disagree with the fact that you have men and women who faithfully serve the U.S. military and actually shed their blood and die. That is something that we can never, never, never forget. Now, the link is there. If anyone wants to join the panel and share their own personal views regarding the veterans, by all means. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share one more article, which consists of the following. Veterans are the brave men and women who left their comfortable lives to join the forces that fight off wars in far away and foreign lands. They are the ones who risk losing their lives, their sanctity, their identities, and their free spirits in order to fight their beloved countries in wars that threaten its security, safety, security, and freedom. These are only some of the reasons behind the question why we should honor veterans. When we think about it, it's only the true sense of patriotism that people go to wars and leave a stable life behind. They don't get paid a lot to join the military or Navy, and even if they did, the thought of leaving families and friends behind to fight in unknown waters is still not compensable by any military value. There is still plenty of left to be done to truly answer the question why we should honor veterans, because one day of celebrating their heroism does not make up for a life that has drastically changed and has become scarred with memories of war, both mental and physical. When people ask why we should honor veterans, we should say that they deserve all the accolades and gratitude coming to them, perhaps more, because nothing compared to what they have gone through to defend the honor of their country. On the other hand, if we truly want to be instrumental in answering why we should honor veterans, we can do the little things in our own way to pay tribute to the war heroes. Perhaps we know of someone's parent who served in the war, or an elderly neighbor who is a war veteran. Giving them respect and listening to their stories would be honored than enough already. So, okay. So that's just something to consider. Now, of course, everyone is entitled to their point of view. You have some people that's going to ridicule these men and women for serving in the military. And that is your choice, and that is your right. But while you're ridiculing these brave people, bear this in mind. They put their lives on the line so you can stay, so you in your comfortable home or privileged home and ridicule these brave men and women who decided to serve the military, who decided to devote large chunks of their life to serve their country. Or maybe their tour is only a couple of years long. But even so, even if it's only 2 years, when you think about it, that's 730 days that they are away from their loved ones, their mom's home cooking, going out socializing on a Saturday night, or any of the other things that we tend to take for granted because we're too comfortable to complain and ridicule men and women who serve our country. Okay. Now, I want to ask those who are in the audience their question. What are your thoughts? You're more than welcome to enter your comments in the chat. Maybe you think that I don't know what I'm talking about, and you're perfectly fine to make that assumption or belief. What I do ask, as always, please be respectable to me and to this channel. And again, if you don't like my content, you're not obligated to consume it. But I decided to devote a whole stream to honor our veterans, to honor their selflessness, to honor their sacrifices. And yes, people, they've made many sacrifices. And for what? For you and me to have the privilege to express our point of view as we see fit. And again, this whole point is to honor our men and women who have served in the armed forces. And many of them paid the ultimate price with their lives. Something to think about. So the link is there. In fact, let me put on the link one more time. If no one else wishes to to enter a comment or join a panel, I'll stop to wrap it up. Okay. Now, what I am going to do is I'm going to talk about my future streams. Now, tomorrow I'm going to be talking about how to maintain your spirit during tribulations. And let me explain what is the whole meaning behind that. And I think that I see there's another comment. Paul Boricuas participated in the most wars in the hemisphere. They fought in every single war attributed to the U.S. and against them: the Revolutionary War, the Civil War, the Spanish-American War, World War II, and in the Middle East. Okay. That's very interesting. Now, one thing that we do bear in mind, we don't seem to be good for a lot of things, except when it comes to war. Then all of a sudden, we're needed. Okay? We needed to put on the uniform and go overseas and fight for a country. Now, grant you, this country, the things that make this country that makes this country proud, and the things that make us feel ashamed. There's a lot of dark elements of in our history within the last 240 something years. Now, as I stated before, tomorrow at I put down it'll be 8:00. Actually, 8:15. Yeah, 8:15. How to maintain your spirit during trials and tribulation. The whole point is this: we go through many difficult times in our lives. Sometimes because of the action that we have made. Other times it's because of circumstances that are beyond our control. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be discussing how to maintain your spirit. In other words, not lose hope during difficult times. And Sunday will be the final time that we will do a stream completely in Spanish. Oh, that's right. And also he mentioned World War I. Yeah. Puerto Ricans have fought in many wars. That is a fact. Okay. So Sunday at 7:00 Eastern Standard Time, we're going to have what's called open dialogue. So what we're going to do is I'm going to be discussing some random topics in Spanish. Also, I'll invite the audience if they have anything they want us to discuss. We will discuss it. Unfortunately, it will be the final time that we do a stream completely in Spanish. The reason behind that is that, unfortunately, whenever we do a stream in Spanish, the audience suffers. In other words, we get less people participating on the stream, not more. So for that reason, this Sunday will be the final time that we do a stream completely in Spanish. Let me just say a few words in Spanish. Este domingo, a partir de las 7 de la noche, vamos a tener lamentablemente la última vez que vamos a tener programación completamente en español. Y El tema será diálogo abierto. Entonces, ¿qué vamos a hacer? Es lo siguiente. Yo voy a hablar sobre algunos temas y yo voy a invitar la audiencia. Si ellos sugieren un tema, vamos a hablar. El motivo que vamos a tener la última programación completamente en español es que cada vez que hacemos programación en español, la audiencia baja. Es lamentablemente porque yo esperaba que había más éxito. So that being said, also I'm going to be doing a stream on a spicy topic. Okay, I will be talking about it probably tomorrow. Okay, so next week, for the most part, we're going to follow a Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday schedule. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be doing a stream. And the name of the stream will be Do Latinos and Mixed People Have Common Concerns or Issues? Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up because there are several issues between the biracial and multiracial community that Latinos experience. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to have a discussion. I'm going to reach out to certain people. I will hopefully people like Magic Mulata and Radical Latino can join in, and we can discuss it and see, do we have common concerns? Some people say no, other people say yes. But in either case, we're going to have a serious discussion regarding that. So what I'm going to be doing this weekend is I'm going to reach out to certain individuals. Now, once this stream is over, I do plan to post it on the Discord. So my friends on Discord can actually watch the stream live. Also, there's some other things I plan to do. I might decide to stop doing streams on Twitch because, to be perfectly honest, it doesn't charge anyone. Okay, so I plan a lot of things that some new different things for this channel. Okay. Now I still see that there's still 4 people watching the stream. Now, one thing I'm going to plan to do is turn off the function regarding subscriber mode, and see if that will encourage other people to comment. But please bear in mind the rules apply whether the subscriber mode is on or off. That's something that I would like everybody to please bear in mind. Okay. Now, being that no one is going to join the stream, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to wrap this up. So sometimes it's a monologue, okay, and it's okay at times. At times, I do appreciate other people to chime in. So that being said, I'm gonna end this stream, but I'm sure other people will catch it on the playback. Um, Before I go, please check out Radical stream today. He did a stream regarding mixed and Latino people. Do we have common concerns? Um, because there's a lot of similarities regarding the issues that our respective communities deal with. So that being said, I'm gonna wrap this up. I'm just gonna say, let us be good to one another. Okay. So that being said, this has been another episode of Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron, and I wish. Wait a minute. Okay, you know what? Okay, you should also have little segments on your live the show. Okay, I would do that. It's just that lately, at times, my Wi-Fi on my computer acts a little crazy. But I'm gonna try to do that. I'm gonna try going forward. I'm gonna try. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm gonna try to do that, and hopefully my Wi-Fi will cooperate with me. But thank you for the suggestion anyway, Tayuna Night. Okay, and oops, I'll thank you very much. So that being said, oops, excuse me. Yes, I agree. That would be cool. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, thank you very much. I will try to do that if my Wi-Fi cooperates. Okay. Well, that being said, thank you very much. And I want to say take care, good night, and peace. Be strong.